Iran, 1.6 million square kilometers, bigger than Alaska, France, and Germany combined. And yet, what do we know about this land beyond headlines and half-truths? The question is wrong. The real question is, which Iran do we know? The Iran of ancient kings who ruled the world's largest empire? The Iran of turquoise-tiled mosques where light fractures into prayer? The Iran of deserts so hot they melt thermometers, forests so old they predate the Himalayas, islands where the earth itself bleeds rainbow colors. Nine million people in Tehran navigate ski slopes and traffic in the same afternoon. Windcatchers pull desert air through underground canals built before Rome fell. Persepolis still guards its secrets in stone. This is not a country that fits one story. It never was. From the capital, where tradition and ambition collide, to ruins that once commanded half the known world, to coasts and mountains the world forgets to see. This is Iran beyond the frame. "6,000 kilometers, 37 locations. One question. What happens when we stop misunderstanding and start looking?" Tehran sprawls beneath the Alborz mountains at 1,200 meters elevation. 9 million people. Traffic. Dust. Noise. And at its western edge, rising from concrete and exhaust, the Yazd Tower. 45 meters of white marble curves. Built in 1971, demolished by revolution, rebuilt by memory. Symbol of freedom, symbol of defiance, symbol of whatever you bring to it. Underneath, the city accelerates. Cars spiral around the monument like prayers. Above, the mountains watch. This is the contradiction Tehran carries. Monuments to the past, eyes on tomorrow. "10 kilometers of corridors, vaulted ceilings that swallow sound. Spice stalls, carpet merchants, gold vendors behind glass, copper pots stacked floor to ceiling. The smell of saffron, cardamom, leather, tea. No maps, no logic, just flow. A man hammers silver in a stall no wider than his shoulders. He has worked here 40 years, his father 50. The rhythm of metal on metal older than most nations. The bazaar doesn't advertise, it doesn't explain. It simply is. Silence after the bazaar. Golistan Palace, built across 4 centuries from the 16th to the 19th. Qajar kings ruled here, crowned here, feasted here. Now, mirrored halls, tilework in geometric perfection, gardens with fountains that catch the light. Tourists walk carefully. The elegance is not fragile, but it demands respect. A single room, the Mirror Hall, holds 25,000 pieces of glass, each one placed by hand. Candlelight once turned the walls into stars. The craftsmanship does not shout, it simply reflects. "435 meters, 16th tallest telecommunications tower in the world, built in 2007. Tehran's skyline has no center, so Milad Tower creates one. From the observation deck, smog, sprawl, mountains, and somewhere in the haze, the Yazd Tower, 8 kilometers west. This is modern Tehran, not ancient, not spiritual. Functional, ambitious, vertical. A city that builds upward because it cannot stop moving forward. "30 minutes north of Milad Tower, the air changes. The Alborz mountains rise sharply, snow-capped peaks at 3,900 meters, visible from downtown traffic jams. Tochal, the closest peak, has a ski resort. Lifts carry skiers to 3,730 meters. Below, Tehran bakes in summer heat. Above, snow clings to north-facing slopes year-round. The contradiction is geographic. The contradiction is Iran. People ski in the morning, return to the city for tea. Further up the foothills, Damavand, a village folded into the mountains. Stone pathways, streams cutting through rock, tea houses clinging to hillsides. Families hike on Fridays. Couples sit by the water. The city hums below, but here, quiet. No monuments, no symbolism. Just a place where people breathe. The mountains don't care about empires or revolutions. They stay. And Tehran, for a moment, looks small. Persepolis, 2,500 years old. Built by Darius the Great. Burned by Alexander. What remains? Columns that pierce the sky. Staircases wide enough for armies. Stone carvings of kings, soldiers, lions, bulls. Processions frozen mid-step. The site covers 125,000 square meters. 13 stone columns still stand in the Apadana Palace. Each one 20 meters tall. Each one carved from a single block. This was not a city. It was a message. Walk the ceremonial stairway and the reliefs unfold. 23 delegations bringing gifts to the king. Lydians with gold, Bactrians with camels, Ethiopians with ivory tusks. The carving is precise. The robes flow. The hands hold tribute gently. Craftsmen worked for decades, carving stone that would outlast empires. The Achaemenid Empire at its peak, 5.5 million square kilometers, 44% of the world's population under one rule. Persepolis was its ceremonial heart. And yet, stand in the ruins at sunset and the scale becomes intimate. The stone turns amber. Shadows stretch across empty halls. Empires end. The stone remembers. Six kilometers northwest, Nakhche Rustam. Four tombs carved into a cliff face. Kings entombed in stone. Darius, Xerxes, Artaxerxes. The tombs sit 30 meters above the ground, cross-shaped facades. No stairs, no access. They were not meant to be visited. Below the tombs, Sasanian reliefs from 7 centuries later. Kings on horseback, victory scenes, coronations. Layer upon layer, empire upon empire. The cliff holds them all. 50 kilometers north, Pasargadae, the first capital, built by Cyrus the Great in 546 BC. His tomb stands alone in an empty plain, a simple stone structure. 6 stepped layers, a single chamber on top. No gold, no carvings, just stone. Cyrus conquered Babylon without a battle, freed the Jewish exiles, wrote the first declaration of human rights on a clay cylinder. His empire stretched from the Aegean to the Indus River. His tomb, 11 meters tall, quiet, unguarded. Alexander visited in 324 BC and ordered it restored. The inscription, now lost, once read, "O man, I am Cyrus, who gave the Persians an empire. Do not begrudge me this patch of earth." He asked for nothing more. West, toward the Zagros Mountains, Bisotun, a relief carved into a limestone cliff, 100 meters above the ground. Darius the Great stands over defeated rebels. Cuneiform text in 3 languages: Old Persian, Elamite, Akkadian. "520 lines, 414 words. The story of how Darius took the throne. The inscription was the key to deciphering cuneiform, the Rosetta Stone of ancient Persia. Carved where no one could reach it, where no one could erase it. Truth elevated. And in the British Museum, far from Iran, a clay cylinder, 23 centimeters long. The Cyrus cylinder, written in 539 BC. It declares, "All people are free to worship. All exiles may return home. All temples will be rebuilt." The first charter of human rights. Carved in clay, survived 25 centuries. Empires fall. Words endure. Isfahan, city of turquoise and light. Naqsh Jahan Square, 512 meters long, 163 meters wide, one of the largest public squares in the world. Built in the early 17th century by Shah Abbas I. On all 4 sides, arches, 2-story arcades, shops selling miniatures, carpets, silver. At the center, fountains, families, evening crowds. The square does not rush. It breathes. On the square's southern edge, the Shah Mosque. Construction began in 1611, took 26 years. Step through the entrance portal and the geometry shifts. The mosque sits at a 45-degree angle to the square, oriented toward Mecca. The courtyard, 4 iwans, symmetrical. A central pool reflects the dome. Enter the main prayer hall. The dome rises 54 meters, covered in 500,000 tiles, cobalt blue, turquoise, yellow, white. Calligraphy spirals upward. Floral patterns repeat in fractal precision. Stand beneath the center and whisper. The dome carries your voice back. Acoustic perfection, engineered in tile. Light enters through stained glass windows. The floor glows. This is not decoration. This is mathematics in service of awe. Across the square, Sheikh Lotfullah Mosque, smaller, no minarets, built for the royal family. The dome shifts color with the sun, cream in morning, rose at noon, amber at dusk. Inside, a single domed chamber, tilework in floral spirals, peacock motifs hidden in the patterns. No courtyard, no crowds, just light and silence. A mosque designed for intimacy. On the square's western side, Ali Kapu Palace, 6 stories. The top floor, the music room. Walls carved into the shapes of vases, instruments, bottles. Not decoration, acoustic design. The negative space absorbs sound. Musicians played here. Shah Abbas listened. The terrace overlooks the square. Kings watched polo matches from here, fireworks, parades. The view has not changed in 400 years. Isfahan's river, the Zayande Rood, cuts through the city. See Osepol Bridge, built in 1602. 33 arches, 298 meters long. At dusk, families gather on the bridge. Students sit beneath the arches. The river sometimes flows, sometimes doesn't. The bridge serves its purpose either way. People meet here, walk here, sit here. A bridge built not just to cross, but to stay. 60 kilometers north of Isfahan, Kashan. Fin Garden, built in the 16th century, fed by a natural spring from the hills. Water channels run through the garden in geometric paths. Fountains, pools, cypress trees older than the United States. The Safavid kings bathed here. Amir Kabir, the reformist prime minister, was assassinated here in 1852. Beauty and blood share the same ground. In Kashan's Old Quarter, merchant houses from the 18th and 19th centuries. Courtyards open to the sky. Stained glass windows cast colored light on stone floors. Underground chambers stay cool in summer. The architecture does not perform, it solves. Heat, privacy, beauty. Windcatchers pull air down into the rooms. Water channels cool the breeze. Every detail serves two purposes: function and grace. This is the Isfahan legacy. Faith did not become art. Art became faith. Dasht-e-Lut, the Lut Desert, southeast Iran. 51,000 square kilometers of sand, rock, heat. The hottest place on Earth. Ground temperatures 70 degrees Celsius, measured by satellite in 2005. Nothing lives here. Nothing grows. And yet, Kaluts. Massive ridges of wind-carved rock, 80 meters tall, running in parallel lines for kilometers. Erosion over 40,000 years shaped them. Wind, sand, time. They look like the ruins of a city that never was. In the heart of the Lut, Gandom Berian, toasted wheat. Black volcanic sand absorbs the sun. The ground radiates heat like an oven. In 2005, NASA recorded a surface temperature of 70.7 degrees Celsius. Legend says wheat left here burns without fire. The desert does not need metaphor. The heat is literal. Northwest, Dasht-e-Kavir, the Great Salt Desert. 77,000 square kilometers of salt flats, quicksand, mirages. The ground cracks into hexagons. Salt crusts buckle and fold. Beneath, mud that swallows. Caravans once crossed here. Many did not return. The desert keeps what it takes.
On the edge of the Kavir, Maranjab Caravanserai. Built in 1605 by Shah Abbas I, a fortified inn for Silk Road travelers. 4 walls, corner towers, a central courtyard. Merchants rested here, fed camels, slept behind thick stone walls. Below the courtyard, a cistern. Water stored underground, cool and dark. The caravanserai still stands. Travelers still stop. The desert has not changed its terms. North, Mount Damavand, 5,609 meters, the highest peak in Iran. A dormant stratovolcano. Last eruption, 5,300 years ago. Fumaroles still vent sulfur near the summit. On clear days, climbers at the top see Tehran, 60 kilometers southwest. Snow clings to the peak year-round. The cone is symmetrical, almost perfect. Damavand appears in Persian mythology, the prison of the dragon Zahak, the mountain where heroes are tested. It does not need legends. The scale is enough. Northeast, along the Caspian Sea, Hyrcanian forests. 850 kilometers of temperate rainforest, 50 million years old. These forests survived the last ice age, outlasted empires, extinctions, climate shifts. Trees here grow to 40 meters. Some are over 1,000 years old. The forest floor is moss, fern, shadow. Humidity clings to everything. Wildlife, Persian leopards, wild boar, Caspian red deer. The air smells of earth and rot and life. From the hottest place on earth to forests older than the Himalayas, Iran does not follow geography's rules. It makes its own.
Yazd, desert city, 1,000 meters elevation. No river, no wells deep enough. Summer temperatures, 40 degrees Celsius. And yet, people have lived here for 5,000 years. How? Windcatchers rise from every rooftop, towers with open vents. They catch desert wind and funnel it down into homes. Below ground, qanats. Underground channels that carry water from mountain aquifers, sometimes for 50 kilometers. Gravity does the work. No pumps, no energy. Yazd's qanat system is over 2,000 years old, still functioning. The city should not exist. Engineering says otherwise. In Yazd's Old Quarter, the Zoroastrian Fire Temple. Inside, a flame burning behind glass. It has burned, uninterrupted, since 470 AD, 1,500 years. Zoroastrians worshipped fire as the symbol of truth and light. The flame must never go out. Priests tend it, feed it, move it when necessary. This flame traveled from village to village, temple to temple, before reaching Yazd in 1940. It has outlasted empires, outlasted the religion's homeland, still burning. Zoroastrians once brought their dead here. Bodies were laid on open platforms. Vultures took the flesh. Bones dried in the sun. Fire, water, earth, all sacred. Death could not contaminate them. The towers were abandoned in the 1960s. The practice ended. The structures remain, silent. The desert reclaims everything slowly. Southwest, Shiraz, city of poets and gardens. Nasir al-Mulk Mosque, built in the 1880s. From outside, pink tiles, intricate but restrained. Inside, morning light through stained glass. The floor becomes a canvas. Red, blue, yellow, pink. Geometric patterns projected in color. Columns, carpets, walls, all illuminated. The mosque is architecture and sundial. The light moves, the colors shift. By noon, the effect fades. The mosque returns to stone and tile. The beauty is temporary by design. In Shiraz, Iram Garden, built in the 13th century. Cypress trees, reflecting pools, symmetry. The Persian garden is a blueprint. 4 quadrants, water at the center representing paradise. Iram means paradise in Persian. The garden does not exaggerate. At the edge of Shiraz, the tomb of Hafez. Hafez, 14th century poet, master of the ghazal.
His poems are read at weddings, recited in times of grief. Iranians open his collected works, the divan, at random for guidance. Bibliomancy. His tomb sits in a garden, a marble pavilion inscribed with his verses. People come here to read, to sit, to ask questions of a man dead 600 years. The poems still answer. North of Isfahan, a Biane village, built into the slope of Karkas mountain. Houses stacked in red clay, narrow lanes, stepped streets. The village is over 2,000 years old. The dialect spoken here is distinct, closer to Middle Persian. Women wear traditional floral scarves. The old language survives in daily speech. A Biane does not perform tradition, it lives it. Wind, water, fire, word. These cities built themselves around what endures.
West, the Zagros Mountains. 1,500 kilometers of ridges, valleys, peaks, stretching from northwest to southeast Iran. Kurdish villages cling to hillsides, stone houses, terraced fields, flocks of sheep moving across slopes. The Kurdish people speak multiple dialects: Kermanji, Sorani, Haurami. Iran is not one story. It never was. The Zagros holds dozens. North, in Gilan province, Mosul, a village built into the mountain at 1,050 meters elevation. Houses stacked so tightly that one family's roof is another's courtyard. No cars, no streets wide enough. Alleys climb in steps, stone pathways slick with rain. Mosul is over 1,000 years old. Fog rolls through in the mornings. The village disappears, then reappears. People live here not despite the terrain, but because of it. Red sand beaches, yellow cliffs, rainbow valleys where iron oxide, sulfur, and minerals layer in bands. Crimson, ochre, white, violet. The Portuguese built a fort here in 1507. It still stands, crumbling, overlooking the sea. The geology is not metaphor. The earth is genuinely multicolored. Salt caves, wind-carved hoodoos, Beaches where the sand shimmers metallic red. Hormuz does not look like Earth, and yet it is. Across the strait, Kashan Island, the largest island in the Persian Gulf. Stars Valley, a maze of eroded canyons, pillars and arches carved by wind and rain over 2 million years. Walk through the passages, and the walls tower overhead. Narrow corridors open into chambers. Light cuts through gaps. Local legend says a star fell here, carving the valley. Geology says water and wind. Both are true, depending on the story you need. The southern coast. Water the color of turquoise and jade. Temperature year-round, 30 degrees Celsius. Traditional dhows still sail. Wooden boats with sails. Fishermen cast nets at dawn. Islands, coral reefs, mangrove forests on Kashan's northern shore. The Gulf is ancient trade route, fishing ground, border. It is also just water, warm and blue. Iran does not resolve into a single image. It multiplies. Kurdistan's mountains, Hormuz's colored earth, Kashan's stone valleys, the Gulf's warm water. "37 locations, 6,000 kilometers, and still only a fragment." The Iran the world doesn't see is not hidden. It's simply layered. One story does not hold it. Iran is not the place we think we know. It is deserts where nothing should survive, and cities where water flows underground for millennia. It is empires carved into cliffs and villages folded into mountains. It is the fire that has burned for 1,500 years, the tiles that turn light into prayer. The bridge where people gather at dusk, whether the river flows or not. $1.6 million square kilometers. We asked, what happens when we stop misunderstanding and start looking? The answer is layered, contradictory, alive? The answer is still unfolding.